Okay, this is my scientific type studies. This here is the spinning top that I use, got a bit of paint over there. And to save the splatters going everywhere again after cleaning up, this is the results. When this was spinning and I dropped the paint in these areas, we got the paint flipping out this way as I spun that way. As I spun that way, the paint was spinning out in the opposite direction. Now, if the Earth was stationary or space was stationary, like some claimed at the time, we dropped the paint, we got this configuration with the paint after splattering coming out in all directions. So to get that, you don't have a spinning space, and to get this configuration, you do. So what I done was, on the fact of when space wasn't spinning, to get this type of situation, I then decided to take a chart and start the spin here and follow these lines of splatter and put a fold in every line so that I ended up with a shape like that. Alright? So, when you open the space up, when it's been folded on the splatters, you have something inside looking like this. Now, this here is the paint splatters, and this here, shaded in dark, are the areas where there is no splatter. So, I recall that, I refer to that, very basic what I'm doing here, but I refer to that whole thing there as dark matter because there's nothing in it at this stage. When we have an explosion, when there's no force to move the space, we get this. You follow those through, join up the lines, and you get this when you open it out. Now, there's the impact site. Now, the further out you move, right, you get past an equilibrium of gravity. So you're floating out here. The closer in you get here, the less gravity you have, which is happening. So all you're doing is, we know the explosion goes in all directions, so it must come and meet somewhere like that. So by following the lines, we get that, and then opening it out so we can see what's happened. So that's basically where I'm at with it. So yeah, I'm just thinking that the dark matter, right, perhaps is the fabric or the netting that's holding everything in here, and we're in here somewhere. The Earth's inside this thing, all our galaxies in this, and you've got several of these things maybe splattered around space. Now, if we look at space as a whole, you could picture it something like this. Now, I think people have seen that sort of a painting on the cropped circles, apparently. There's the centre. There's your dark matter, or your parts of where the force didn't affect, and here's where the force did affect on these different explosions. Now, as it gathered mass, right, as this thing gathered mass, it would have made the space more, given the space more energy to spin, and then that is why we started getting these shapes, because the matter was condensed into those different spirals. So yeah, still working on it, very basic, but O1 stuff, but you have to go, I had to go right through just to see, without any of the micro forces in the background or anything, just to see exactly what happens. Now, if you take this into account, and you draw this, what I've drawn here, and you can see the gravity equilibrium line, which you can just about work out with the maths, but we won't worry about maths just now. And you can see inside there how to hold the fabric of that matter together. When you get an impact, the force goes out in all directions like this, which actually holds, if you like, the dark matter in the fabric in place, because as we go this way, we're moving into compressed gravity, and the gravity force is less that way, which is the same as was the case with our rolled up piece of paper. Now, for instance, another experiment you could do to prove that, when you have that in a circle like that, you drop a ping pong ball in the middle of that thing, right, and you send a force, if you like, a wind up through there, and the ping pong ball will stay in there, but it will be elevated to a certain distance. And the heavier the ball, the closer it will be down, and the rest of the wind brings the other lighter ball to the top of it, which makes me think that we had an implosion rather than an explosion in space. So, yeah, still working on it, but you can't deny the fact. If you've got a bit of paint, you drop blobs on it and see what happens, because the same thing basically happens out there. Now, that's taken away all the energy differences and everything that existed, just the very basics to see what happened. So we'll progress from there.